after the birth of our first daughter back in 2016, I was so excited to be a dad and just was really craving community and just kind of seeing what's out there for that, and was pretty shocked when there wasn't a whole lot going on. People weren't connected to much, and they weren't really connecting as dads in the community. Some of our first activities, it was pretty awkward because we're like, hey, dads, why don't you come meet at the playground? We'll have like a play group. Or, hey, dads, come on down to the video game arcade and let's hang out. And that's not something that men and dads are raised to do. Research shows that dads and men prefer casual environments. They prefer learning on the fly, and they prefer learning from their peers. And they engage in activities where there already is a shared interest or a passion. This isn't rocket science. This isn't like this really complicated thing. If you create the space and you make it like kind of cool and engaging, people dig it and they'll come out for it. But we have to create the spaces and we have to invest in that. Cool. All right. First question. What brought you to Dad Guild?
I want to meet people in Burlington. So here I am, meeting people in Burlington, and I'm glad to be doing so.
I think the first thing I went to, and Keegan was like, oh, kids now, like, at the time they were 4 and 2, and he just went, oh man, you're in it. And it was just so like, oh, someone gets it.
When we were in Denver before moving back here, every time a friend had a kid, it was very obvious, like, the room would separate and like all of the women would like pass the baby around and the guys would sort of be like stand awkwardly. And at one point I was like, oh, let me hold this kid. And then very quickly you could tell that like a lot of the women in the room were like waiting for me to be done and be like, okay, like I'm done now, and hand it back. But I was like, no, she fell asleep on me. Like, I want to keep doing this. And so I was really like aware of how few men tend to hold like get that baby passed around, and how few babies like get that experience. And so I was just like, I want to make sure like I'm in with a bunch of other dads when we land here and we're gonna have a kid.
So what is the benefit of meeting with other dads / what do you get here that you don't get in other places?
Camaraderie.
You can just show up and you don't have to talk about how you're a dad. It's like what Patrick was saying. There's this like hive mind of like, yeah, like thanks for showing up. I know it was probably easier to maybe think about not showing up because you're so tired, or whatever. So it's like you don't have to front load. You can just be who you are, and it's easy.
Yeah.
Like when you become a parent, there's like this feeling of isolation, and again, we continue to do these things where you don't feel alone. Like you're not alone.
To switch gears, have you ever faced criticism, pushback socially or at work for having children or your parenting approach?
Yeah, no, what is this? Yeah, we're gonna tag you all the time. I think back, so I was a stay-at-home dad for the first year and a half of my first kid's life, but I remember a few incidents where I would have my son and I'd be out in public and people would say like, what's a big guy like you doing with a sweet little angel like that? I would get these comments on a daily basis. And there's the typical, are you babysitting? Are you know, like we don't babysit our own kids. So yeah, and those hit me really hard.
I feel like I've noticed as a dad when I'm alone with my children, I like get compliments. Like, what a good job you're doing. I'm like, why? My wife would not. She's just a mother, right? But just like, I don't know, trying to tackle that somehow feels good. Like it should be done, because it just feels weird to me to hear it, because I'm just being a parent.
And having people like at the grocery store or something, you should be like, oh wow, that's really like you're a dad, you know? And it's like almost condescending, or like, oh, it's so cool, like you have a baby, instead of like, I'm just trying to be a good dad. Because it's like, because he's not with mom, he's with me. And it's like,
some interesting work interactions where I think, like we were saying earlier, of like folks who just have kids, they kind of get it, and you don't have to have like this big download. But there'll be people who are like, and they'll be like, yeah, I mean, we all have chaotic mornings, so I'm like, no, you don't. You don't understand. So it's like, it is interesting just running up against kind of anybody who's in a position of authority who doesn't know how intense it is to be like on and trying to take care of everybody.
Research shows that 2/3 of dads experience mental health challenges in the first 5 years of their kids' lives. And I think, people are struggling with this transition from life before kids to life with kids, because it does change your life quite a bit. And I think for dads, we're expecting a bit more and expecting to see a bit more of this nurturing side, but we aren't showing them how to do it. And we're not creating the spaces where it's safe to do it. And so I think a lot of times dads are kind of left out on their own. Just looking at like science and data and research, like, whether we're discussing like what's healthy masculinity and what's not, like we know that men are killing themselves more often than women. We know that men are half as likely to seek out mental health support. We know that men have half as many friends now than they did 30 years ago. It's like, these are things that we just know. And so I think it speaks to how important it is in those first few years to model something different for our kids. When you're like, wow, here's all the problematic statistics about men and dads, I should probably model the opposite.
I feel like that is the big thing of just like communicating things, not trying to hide things. It's, I feel like, when I was a kid, something was happening. There was so many like family dramas that I never heard about. And like, you just, the old way was you don't tell the kids anything. And now it's like, well, actually, they're going to have to deal with this stuff, so you should talk to them about it.
What I see, like, my son will be, if we were in this meeting right now, having this discussion, my oldest son will be sitting here listening and participating in this conversation because of what he has witnessed throughout the time, throughout all the events and stuff that we've incurred with Dad Guild. I see in him the behaviors that not only I modeled, but other dads had modeled in events that we've gone to.
That stories that I hear from time to time, and I heard one a month or two ago, was this dad coming to a play group and saying how his kid like goes home and sets up the dolls and plays like Dad Guild playgroup with their dolls. And like, it's like the most like, it's like so cute and you laugh, and then it's also like, whoa, that's really badass actually. We're finding that when dads participate in our programming, that their confidence as a parent increases. We're finding that they're increasing the number of social connections that they have, and we're finding that they're turning to those social connections when they need someone to talk to. And so just knowing those three things feels huge for the impact that we're having.